Okay, we're live this morning and I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see exactly what it looks like in the back end as an athlete when you log in, which is pretty cool. So doors are open at the moment. We're in the final stretch. They'll be open for this weekend and then they will close down at 9 a.m. Brisbane, Australia time, Monday morning. So if you're in the US or Canada, that's actually your Sunday afternoon, evening. So wherever you live, you basically have the weekend to kind of think about it, deliberate on it and go, is this what I want to do right now? Or if you want to wait for one of our future cohorts in the year. I have 4 cohorts running of the TNA program. We have starting now, we have April, we have July, and we have October, just after Sunny Coast 70.3 later in the year. So there's plenty of opportunity to get some help with your nutrition if you need it. But I find that January is such a good time to get started, particularly if you're on the other side of the world in the Northern Hemisphere and you live in the US and you live in Canada. Then your winter is the perfect time to get some foundations sorted with your nutrition so that when your season does start, you're already on the front foot, you're not on the back foot. Whereas in Australia, we are in our season here already. And so you guys, I think that it's never too late. You should always just dive in when you can. But January is the perfect position for the US, Canada guys, and the UK because of just how your seasons run. We're in the middle of our triathlon season here in Australia. Ours is in summer. Just going to turn my phone on focus so I don't get interrupted by somebody trying to call me through this. So you guys, you need to think about what your race calendar is looking like this year. Where's your A race? Where is your key one? I like to, get people set up with as much time as they can with their nutrition. The more time you've got, the better. So even if you're not doing too much in 2025, then that's also great because you are ready then for the 2026 season. So it doesn't matter where you're at, what races you've got on. If you have no idea what you're doing with your nutrition and you're just winging it, then the sooner you start, the better, because there are so many advantages to understanding how to eat to support 3 sports. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you log in as an athlete. Let me just figure out how to do that. Share my screen. Now we've just got to make sure we've got the right screen. This one, window, Chrome tab. Yeah, let's do it. So hopefully you can see okay on Insta. If not, you might want to jump across to Facebook where it might be a little bit bigger. But any questions as we go, please let me know. I've got things open in front of me, so hopefully I will catch it. Here we go. We're here. All right, this is what it looks like. We're up and we're running. Hey, Steve. So I'm going to try and quickly skip past our athlete discounts so that you can't see them, because one of the things that you get when you are a member of the TNA program is some discounts for services and providers that are actually good. Products and services. Sorry, I have no idea what I said then, but that's what I meant to say. But things that are actually good, not because I'm getting paid or commissioned to recommend it. And I'm really passionate about that. I will always be Switzerland when it comes to supplement companies. And I get approached all the time to become like an ambassador or, get a discount code that I would then get commission on and things like that. And I just think that is a load of rubbish, because I would much rather recommend products to you because they're actually good and they're going to be good for you and it's probably a good thing to try, not because I personally get commission for recommending that. And that's really rife in the sporting industry, particularly triathlon. A lot of coaches will have an affiliation with a particular product, and that product is not right for everyone. Sure, there's going to be some people that it'll be good for, but there are lots of people that's not going to serve to the best of their ability. So I'd much rather you be using the products that you like, that are good for you, that are working for you, not just like half-assing it because the coach or me is getting kickbacks for that. So I'm going to try and quickly skip past those and show you you. There we go. Okay, so we have our own TNA apparel. This is Steve. If you're still watching on Insta, this is our male model here, Steve, giving our visor a little twirl, which is very exciting. So that was very slow scroll through the discounts. Sorry, hopefully you can't see that. But inside we have a masterclass that drops every single week. There's 36. Our program is 9 months, and you have 12 months access in case, you get a little bit behind or you want to rewatch something 2 or 3 times to get it to really sink in. You've got a whole year to work on your nutrition. And as an endurance athlete, we need to think long game. Like, we are endurance trained and we need to play the long game with our nutrition. If we want it to stick, if we want to form new habits, if we want to actually make some change with it, then it's going to take time. This is not about an 8-week challenge. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that is going to be like, Taryn's going to fix me overnight. I do not guarantee that. I guarantee I will absolutely change your life, but it's going to take a little bit of time to do that, because change is hard. And we are changing habits and behaviors here that you've probably had for your entire life. So I'm going to teach you how to eat for performance as a triathlete, but I'm also going to set you up for long-term health as well, which is really important. And I guess that's my wheelhouse as a dietitian, is that we are doing this to live well into our 80s, into our 90s. And if you still want to be doing triathlon in your 80s, like, I'm here to support that, because how we eat and what we do now in our younger years sets us up for success in those later years. If your cholesterol's a problem now, we need to fix that now before you need to get like a bypass surgery when you're 80, right? Let's do the work now to make sure we're eating to support our general health, plus also setting our triathlon career up for success, because eating for 3 sports is so different to eating for just running or just cycling or just going to the gym. And that's where a lot of people get unstuck, is that they don't change the way that they eat for triathlon when you begin. And that's because nobody has any idea how to do it. It's actually not, it's not difficult, but you do need a bit of guidance and support to understand how to do it, because listening to our body and tuning into our appetite and all those sorts of things doesn't always serve us when we do a lot of exercise in a day. So 36 masterclasses. The first one drops tomorrow morning, and it's on recovery nutrition, to make sure that you have the perfect recovery nutrition plan dialed in for you. And your recovery is very custom and unique to you. And so this is a question I get asked a lot, but how do I help you if it's a group thing? And you will have a specific and custom plan for you, because I'm going to show you how to do it for yourself. This is not a generic cookie cutter, everyone gets the same template type program. I want to help you at the individual level, and I can do that in this way. Plus, you also get me live in power hours most weeks to ask all of those little nuanced questions about you and your little special unicorn self, to make sure that your nutrition is perfectly dialed in for you. And that's the advantage of having a sports dietitian in your corner every week. It's not like going to a private consultation with somebody and you might go every month. Like, this is weekly. So we check in every week so that we can fix stuff really quickly if it's going awry, or I can help you test and tweak stuff very rapidly as well, because we are checking in each week. So recovery nutrition unlocks this weekend, and our first power hour session is on next week, where we jump on here on Zoom and everyone has this great conversation. It's interactive, and you will learn from not only the questions that you asked and get answers for, but you're also going to learn from athletes that ask other questions that you have never even thought about because your brain didn't go there. So it's a really comprehensive session to make sure that there is no stone left unturned with your nutrition. Then we dive straight into pre-training nutrition and make sure you've got a plan for all of your different types of training sessions for that. It's not a set and forget. You don't have just one pre-training nutrition thing. It's always variable depending on what we're trying to achieve with those sessions. And I always call pre-training and recovery our bookends. Those things that you do around your training sessions are going to have the biggest impact on that session. And then in the next 2 weeks, we're going to work on building out your day-to-day nutrition meal plan. So step 1, like building the foundations of it. And then step 2 is periodizing it to training. So making sure that you are eating for the work required, and you're eating like a triathlete. You're not eating like somebody that is constantly trying to diet to drop body fat. We're actually eating to support training, and the body fat comes secondary to actually understanding how to eat properly for 3 sports in an event. So in the first 4 weeks, you'll know what you're doing on a daily basis. And by splitting it out and taking a little bit of time to do that, you'll actually understand how to do it. but also why we do the things that we do, which is so much more valuable, because when you understand why, if things change, like your training program changes, or you suddenly stop training for a few weeks, or you go on holidays, or I don't know, like you just have a stressful life event and training and triathlon goes out the window for a little bit, you know how to adapt your nutrition to that, rather than just blindly still eating the same meal plan that somebody handed to you, because you don't know the science that goes into it to know how to change it yourself. And so that's when people don't have that long-term success, because you don't know how to fix stuff on a daily basis and tweak it and evolve it over time as well. So I'm really passionate about getting triathletes. I'm basically teaching you everything that I know. My 6 years of university level study and like 17 years of practical experience working with triathletes now, as well as being a triathlete myself, that kind of knowledge and experience, I'm just going to hand it to you. I'm not a gatekeeper. Once you're in the program, like there's no holds bars. It's like, here you go, have my brain. Anything you want to know, it's open slather. Oh, it sounds weird. Then we're going to work through the rest of our fundamentals when it comes to nutrition and getting all the right nutrients into our body. So iron and calcium are two key ones as an endurance athlete. And then in our bonus session, bonus masterclass for phase 1, we also talk about vitamin D and making sure you get all of the right building blocks and foundations when it comes to that, as well as we go through the foundations for your ride fuel and your run fuel, because a lot of people do weird things. And it's probably just that you've been following your training buddy, or your coach gave you some advice, or I don't know, somebody told you to do something somewhere and you're like, yep, sure, I can do that. So it's just making sure we're all on the same page here. You've got the good fundamentals when it comes to fueling on the bike, which I affectionately love to call the rolling buffet, and eating on your feet, so our run fuel as well. So making sure that when we start the program, we're starting from the ground up, and we're stopping for a hot second and working on the maybe not so sexy fundamentals, so that we can build and layer on top of that each and every week to be actually supercharged triathletes. Most triathletes build their nutrition pyramid by starting with the little sprinkles first. They start with the top, the 1%ers, the shiny objects, the things that can be great in time, but when you need to get your fundamentals right first. So we start and we build phase 1 from the big fat triangle base and build all the way up, so that by the time you finish phase 3, at the end of our 9 months, we're doing those sprinkles. We're doing the sprinkles on the icing on your cake, and they have something to stick to. When I worked with the elite triathletes in my time at Triathlon Australia, those guys have key performance indicators to be able to use particular supplements and 1%ers. They have to prove that they're ready, that they can perform and be consistent in that performance before they can even dabble in some of those ergogenic aids or performance enhancing things. Now, as age groupers, we have access to that stuff and we see the pros do it. So we think, well, if they're doing it, I should do it too. But often you can just be making expensive urine and wasting your money using stuffs that aren't actually doing anything for you. They're not effective because you haven't built your nutrition from the ground up. Now, those pros and those elites have been doing that for many, many years. And so that compounded over time means that their 1%ers and performance enhancers are actually going to help them and progress them forwards. I have to tell this story. One time I was in clinic and I had an athlete come to see me for the first time, and he brought an entire duffel bag and dumped it on my desk and said, here's everything that I take. Tell me what is good. Tell me what is not good. Like, let me know. And I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, this guy had no idea how to do recovery. He had no idea how to carb load. He had no idea how to do so many things that are the big rocks when we are a triathlete, but yet he was taking every supplement known to man that he'd ever seen on the internet or had an ad sent to him. And I was like, dude, you can stop taking all of that. Let's actually get you to eat properly on a daily basis first, because the small daily compounded habits over time are what are going to have the biggest impact on your race day performance. It's not this one thing that you magically take the day before a race or the day of your race that you think is going to be advantageous for you. So he actually didn't want to lose any of it. He was like held on tight to all of it, but it took a while, but we negotiated some things off the plan that were just well, a lot of it wasn't even actually evidence-based, but some of the stuff was useful, but just not yet. Anyway, I laugh at that story because I know that there are so many triathletes out there that do the same thing. You take something because you heard it on a podcast, or Christian Blumenfeld's using it at Kona, and so you should do it too. And my job is to cut through all the noise and the BS on the internet and go, okay, this is what we know about this thing. Is this going to be useful for you? Yes or no? And so you have actually a educated opinion around whether something is right for you or if it's just a complete waste of money. So let me jump into one of these masterclasses so I can show you what it looks like when you go in. So these ones are like drop into your library every week. They drop in first thing Saturday morning, so 5 a.m. Brisbane time, so that you've got the weekend to go through it. And so inside is a video to watch. They go from 30 to 60 minutes, depending on what topic is we're talking about. So periodization goes for 37 minutes. And there's always a worksheet and some downloads here as well. We've got some like super easy spreadsheets to use for calculating things like your carbohydrate loading plan. I just loaded version 3 up of that the other day because we've made some little tweaks and changes to it. That just makes the whole process of carbohydrate loading easy for you, because I have not met one athlete that knows how to carbohydrate load properly until they've had some education. And you all carb load, or you think you're carb loading, but carb loading is not just going to town at the pasta party or, you know, drinking more sports drink and eating some lollies or candy the day before your race. You actually need to be way more strategic with your nutrition if you want to effectively carb load, so that you have the advantage of carb loading, the 1 to 3% performance gain that we can get from carb loading if you do it properly. So we have spreadsheets to help that. And that is like one of the biggest gold nuggets of the program, is that my job is to make nutrition easy for you. I'm going to fast track you through all this stuff without you having to waste years trying to figure it out for yourself on the internet and still second guessing whether you're doing it right or not. So that's what it looks like. You watch the masterclass, download your worksheets. Sometimes there's things to do. Sometimes there's not things to do. Let me show you recovery nutrition, actually. Because recovery nutrition, you definitely have a worksheet so that you know how to actually do your recovery nutrition plan for yourself. So here we're calculating your perfect recovery meal. And that is really important, is that it is your custom plan. It's not a generic plan that everyone does the same recovery nutrition. So if I go back out to here, let's go through to phase 2, just skipping past our discounts there. Hopefully that was faster. Okay, so phase 2, I've gone too far. We're into week 4 of phase 2, but here we do carb loading. We do your pre-race meal. We figure out some of the performance enhancing effects of caffeine and how much to use so that you've got the right amount, because a lot of triathletes over caffeinate or under caffeinate, and more is not better, but you just need to like nuance that to dial it in for you. And then, you know, how to understand how to actually meet those needs. What products are you going to use? How are you going to get there? And then how to test and trial things so that we know that it is working for you and it's not going to lead to a million Portaloo stops, etc. on the run. So I guess, again, that's the advantage of a sports dietitian and having them in your team, is that I know all the gels, the sports drink, whatever products we're using. I know how much caffeine is in those off the top of my head, so that when we know your targets, I can easily calculate and put those into your plan based on your preferences and help you do that in a fast, easy way. So hydration's at the start of this as well. That's week 3. And then we work through your sprint and Olympic distance race nutrition plans, everything from race week, the week leading in, during the race, and the week out. So many triathletes think that their race nutrition is just what they do once the gun goes off. But for me, it's about setting you up for success for the whole week going in, doing the race with all of the right levers. We're going to pull all the right levers for you, make sure it's dialed in and custom and bespoke to you, and you've tested it a lot in training. And then we also do recovery beyond crossing the finish line that day and days to the week after your race as well. So it's this big thing. because we do a lot of exercise. And if you're like Erin, who's in the program, she does a lot of racing. I want to make sure she's recovering as fast as possible and as best as she can, so that she can back up again and race the next day. She often races 2 times in a weekend, on a Saturday and a Sunday. And then she'll race again the next week. So we need to be way more aggressive with our nutrition if that's the case. And I can show you how to do that. Managing hot races is another key thing that you need to understand, because so often triathletes just use the same old race plan for every single race. And that is not good. That is not ideal. There are so many little things that we can tweak and evolve for every race that you do to keep dialing it in. And hot racing is a different strategy to a more cool, temperate environment. Multiple transportable carbohydrates. If you have no idea what that means, don't worry, I can teach you. But I'm going to show you how to basically get sports dietitian knowledge around like understanding what's in products, what to look for, how to read the label, how to tell if something is actually good or if it's just like shiny marketing BS. We dive in, so he can see our bonus masterclasses that are at the end of each phase. We dive into sports gels and everything that I know about gels. Sports drinks is the same, so that when we're looking at stuff, we can go, oh, this is a cool new product. Should I try it? Or actually, no, that's got this in it, or that doesn't have this in it, or whatever. So that's not actually a great product, even though it looks pretty. It looks sexy. It looks shiny. Gels in particular are designed to look like phone apps. Phone apps are designed to look delicious so that you want to tap on them and you want to use them and you want to go in there. Gels are the same. And if you don't like gels, even though they look really pretty, you don't have to use them. We also talk about muscle cramps and the evidence behind muscle cramps. And I don't know if Steve's still online, but magnesium's not your magic answer when it comes to muscle cramping. We talk about alcohol and performance as well. That's some insight into some of the bonus masterclasses at the end of each phase. And then when we hit to phase 3, so we're heading towards like the back end of our journey here, then we go back to our day-to-day nutrition, because it's something that we're always going to be working on. And once you've got 6 months of good nutrition knowledge under your belt, then it's a really good time. Oh, hey, Steve. It's a really good time to come back and revisit this, reassess your calorie intake, your macro intake, your micronutrient intake. Are you still eating for what you need based on what you're doing? Because like I said right in the beginning, if you missed it, nutrition is not set and forget. It's something we want to be constantly kind of tweaking and evolving, but I can help you do that the easy way. We also talk about the elusive how to get to race weight. What does that actually look like? What does that mean? How do you do that without just dropping out all your muscle mass? Gut training and how to actually do gut training. And I'm going to show you step by step how to do that for yourself. Fueling those really long rides. So if you're stepping up to full distance racing and you're riding for 6 hours or more, like what does that actually look like compared to say a 2-hour ride? So we've got a strategy to maximize the, training adaptations from a 6-hour ride rather than just bonking and hitting the wall and being stuck on the couch for the whole rest of the day. Fueling long runs as well. So again, when we maybe step up to longer distance events where our long runs are getting to be like 3.5 hours, like what do we need to do differently with our nutrition compared to say a 2-hour run or less? And a lot of people don't extend their thinking beyond just the same. And my job is to try and teach you all of that in the easiest way possible. And then in our third phase and our final phase, we do your 70.3 and your full distance race nutrition plans and everything that goes with it. Okay, like we leave no stone left unturned. So if that is something that you've got on the cards in the next year or two, then you want to start working on nutrition now so that you have your plan dialed in and it's very well practiced and rehearsed. Kathleen said, I was so impressed with the weekly masterclasses schedule and how easy it was to watch the videos, download the worksheets, and link to the weekly power hours. Thanks, Kathleen. From a non-techie person, I would say, no offense, that's not meant to be offensive. But you don't need to be like really high tech to get into the program. If there's ever any issues, like just email us and we can help troubleshoot. But it should be relatively easy, and everything is also available on your phone. You can do it on a computer, and a lot of people will do that when they're on the wind trainer, but you can get stuff on your phone so that when you're going out for a long run, you can be listening. Just like you might listen to a podcast, you can do the same with this stuff. No offense, Kathleen. All right, and some of our bonus masterclasses for phase 3, let me show you, because I don't often talk about these, is some extra performance boosters and like sprinkles that we can layer in now once we are working on the tip of your nutrition pyramid, getting that balance right post-race, which is something that a lot of people don't get right, is like they do a big race and then they stop. Right? You cross your finish line and your nutrition just stops. And so how do you then find that balance again after you've done the longest, hardest race of your life and not just blown out and gained 10 kilos or what's that, 2.2, 20 pounds, I think, 22 pounds, or go the other way and just be not hungry and not eating and supporting our recovery processes. So it's just getting that balance right again after you've done a really big race so that we are maintaining our body composition over the year and the season. I've seen so many triathletes, man, I'm going to throw you under the bus here. You are the worst at it, is that you do an Ironman, your weight drops down, you're feeling good, you're feeling fit, and then you finish your Ironman and then it all just comes back on and more because you haven't actually dealt with your nutrition properly. So I'm about long-term change and long-term health and getting that set up in the right way for you. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Race recovery and, extending that beyond just that immediate crossing the finish line recovery. And then here, one of our bonus masterclasses is all of your targets for everything in one easy to use spreadsheet. I'm very proud of that. Thank you, Kelly, for helping me develop that. But you basically put a couple of details in about yourself and it will spit out all of the information you need for your recovery targets, your carb loading targets, your caffeine targets, like all the things that you need in one easy to use place so that you don't have to go diving back through 36 masterclasses to be like, what did Taryn say about that again? I've forgotten. We've got it all here in one place to make it easy for you. So that is all our masterclasses. You also get, I don't know if I can go back here. I probably can't. Let's see. You do get access to the dietitian approved recipe database, which has got over 200 recipes in here now that are all designed specifically for the active person. Can you guys still see that? Yeah, you can. So I know that you don't have time to slave away in the kitchen cooking something elaborate for 6 hours or 3 hours, unless the slow cooker is doing the work for you. But all of my recipes tick all the right boxes for an active person, because that is the problem with recipes on the internet as well, is they're not designed for somebody that does a lot of exercise. They don't have enough protein, the carbohydrates all wrong, they don't have the right nutrients for us. So as a sports dietitian, I've developed over 200 to help you eat well and get out of the kitchen pretty quickly. I love me some good one-pot Mondays, particularly as a parent, and that time is just utter chaos. Then I love chucking everything into a pot and it doing the hard work for me while I wrangle the little crazies or go and do something else, like unpack a bag, repack a bag, tidy up, whatever it is that you need to do. So you get access to that. You also get access to my weekly menu plans, which, can you see this? Can I come back? Can I come back? What happens if I do that? Oh, have we still got the screen? I think we do. Yes. Go. So weekly menu planning here, you get access to that. Kathleen said the carb loading smoothie is the best. Thank you. There is a carb loading section in the recipe database. Thanks, Kathleen. I forgot that. I forgot about my own recipe database. So there is a carb loading section in there to help you carb load well and easily. So there's recipes you can follow that can just form the foundation of your carbohydrate loading plan without you having to think about it, because that is my job, to fast track your nutrition success. Weekly menu plans, you get access to this as well. We have a plan for the week for the 365 days of the year. So 52 weeks. There are 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, and spring. So you can dive into the one where you're at. So like Kathleen, for instance, is in America. She's in the depths of winter, whereas I'm in the height of summer here. And so you can dive into whatever is going to suit your season. We have a very global program. And that's going to give you what to eat for dinner every night of the week, the shopping list to go and get everything, and I'm going to give you the recipe to follow as well. So it should just be a no-brainer that you can plug and play. I can help you shift meals around based on training load. But a lot of athletes find this really useful when they've, say, been away for a race or been on holidays and they come back. You know how you come back and you're like, damn it, I've got a parent or I've got an adult again. And we've got nothing to eat in the house. And it's just a mad scramble for a few days until you get your shit together. So a lot of people use these, print it out, do an online shop, get everything they need delivered to home, and then they just use that for that week to get themselves back on track and make sure their nutrition's not just being dropped, that ball's not being dropped for that in a whole entire week. So it's a really cool resource that I know a lot of athletes love. And it is my happy place, like planning meals for a week that are like beautifully balanced. We've got a variety of protein sources. I know you're getting heaps of nutrients like that. It just makes my heart sing. And then you just get to do that without thinking about it, which is super cool. So you get access to that. You've got me live most weeks in Power Hours. The way that our phases work, we've got 8 weeks on, and then we've got 4 weeks at the end of each phase, which I like to call the adaptation and the rest period, so that we can adapt from that phase before we move on to the next. So you still have a masterclass. That was those bonus ones that I shared with you before. I don't know if I can go back into that. Yep. So the bonus ones that we get at the end here, there's 4 of those. And those weeks you don't have Power Hour with me. So you get an hour back in your week, but it's a really nice time to cement what we've done, still keep learning, but it helps you to not get overwhelmed and stressed with the amount of stuff that we go through. And so each phase just layers on the next, and we systematically and strategically work through your nutrition so that by the time you get to the end of 9 months, you won't know yourself. And then often we've got 3 months at the end of extra access that people often go back and start again and go, all right, now that I've got this really good fundamental knowledge, I can go back and watch recovery and take away from it so much more information because my level of knowledge has gone from here to here. So I can absorb things differently. I can pick up things that I didn't even notice first round. And so we're always just getting better. It's kind of like triathlon. There's always something that we can do better at. And I think the same is with nutrition is we can always do better. We can always be better. Like I'm a sports dietitian. I know how to eat, but I can still always be better. One of the things that I'm working on at the moment is choosing more nutrient-rich snacks because I know how to do that, and I'll prepare the same for my kids, but then I'll just like not eat or grab something quickly because I'm busy and I'm in a rush. So my goal this year is to eat much more strategically when it comes to snacking. So for you as not a nutrition professional that don't have the years of university level study and knowledge behind you, then it's even harder. But all of these tools and resources that you get in the program are designed to help make it easy. I know that you're time poor. I know that you don't have time to even stop for a second and scratch yourself and think about this stuff. So I'm basically handing it to you on a silver platter, except you do have to do some work. I can't teach you via osmosis. You have to actually do some stuff. You have to watch your masterclasses, come along to Power Hours if you can make it, and actually do the work to get the most out of the program. So if you can't make it to Power Hour Live, there is a place that you can submit questions for me, and I will always answer it live for you. And then we'll record those sessions, load them into your library so that you can watch it back at a time that suits you. And we also timestamp the discussion so that if you ask me a question, you can jump straight to that timestamp and go, okay, give me the goods, Taryn. What did you say? What do I need to do? But I do encourage you to come live if you can, because they're a lot of fun and you'll get a lot out of it. And then if you can't make it, I would probably watch the whole recording back, because there are so many advantages from listening to somebody else's question, because they might have some problems or be struggling with something that you also struggle with, and you get the benefit from learning for that as well. So that is all the things in the program. We've got 36 masterclasses on every topic you need to understand to be a successful triathlete. You have me live most weeks, 8-week on, 4-week off cycle in Power Hour sessions to use my brain and get unstuck when it comes to nutrition. You get access to the recipe database, all of the weekly menu plans, discounts for products and services that are actually good, not because I get paid to recommend them. Plus you get to join our amazing community of triathletes all over the world. We've got a couple watching online at the moment, and these guys are awesome. Like, that has been one of the happiest things that has come out of creating this program. Like, I'm so passionate about teaching triathletes about nutrition, but the friendships that are formed and the relationships that people have built just by working on nutrition together has been amazing. And we're all doing Sunny Coast 70.3, not all of us, but a lot of us are doing Sunny Coast 70.3 in September this year. If you do want to come and join us, come and race with Team TNA. We actually need a runner for our team. I'm going to do the swim. Leanne's going to do the bike again. And we do need a runner if anybody's interested in running a half marathon at Sunny Coast. But Kathleen, who's online, is going to come all the way from the US. Steve was online before. He's going to come all the way from Canada. He actually traveled the furthest last year and won our award for furthest distance traveled. Here he is. Steve said, a truly amazing bunch. He is still along and watching. Steve's got a great podcast episode on the TNA podcast if you do want to listen. Episode 171, I think it was, off the top of my head, recently, about his epic over 1 hour PB that he did at Sunny Coast 70.3 in 2024. And he's got a bone to pick with the swim. And he's looking to beat that again in 2025. So I'm so excited to see him come out here again with his wife, Lynn, and give it a red hot nudge now that he's fixed his cramping issues with the power of nutrition. So yay, Steve. So if you've been watching along all week and you've got any questions, please hit me up. I am here. I'm a real person. If you send me an email or DM on Instagram, you get me. It's a real person. It's not although Steve gets the bot all the time. But it is me if you do have any questions. We've got doors open until Monday morning at 9 a.m. and that is it. It's all over Red Rover until our next cohort starts in April. So if you email me on Tuesday and say, hey, I missed it, can I get in? The answer is no, unfortunately, because we are away. We've already, the masterclass is already unlocked. People are already working on their recovery nutrition, and we've got Power Hour coming up, and we've got a new athlete welcome party coming on Monday as well. So if you miss it, that's it. You'll have to jump on the wait list for our April cohort. So any questions, please let me know. I'm going to jump off now, but we've got a couple more days to think about it, and then that's it. So thank you so much for those of you that were on here live with me. And if you've missed it and you're watching the replay and you've got any questions, just send me a message. I am here. All right, how do I stop sharing screen? There we go. Have a great weekend, everyone. And I'll see you all. I'll see you next week, Steve. And Kathleen, I'll see you next week. But any questions, please let me know. Okay, thank you. Bye.